Okay, so I ended that other stream because I wanted to keep it short and sweet and to the point, because that is an important clip for targeted victims to definitely watch, number one, and number two, to have the awareness as to how we can possibly deal with this if we encounter it. Now, I've had a lot of clips from Unconsenting, which is Uncle John, and I'm going to share some of his clips. I'm just going to start my nifty notepad up. I'm starting to run out of space on my computer again. Sucks for me. I've got to go out and delete a bunch of stuff and move it around. So what John had found is he'd found some Nordic semiconductors on his network. Now, when I was first recording my network a couple of years ago, there we go. So I had recorded, I think it was 60 or 70 Nordic semiconductors all over my yard in Winnipeg, equipped with MAC addresses and linking, and I had, recorded and done the tracing of that. Now, of late, I have actually recorded some aspects of a hospital, a lot of hospital equipment, its MAC addresses, when it was servicing. Very interesting stuff. So keep that in mind. That's all I'm going to say about that. If you're ever in lockup and you're recording their network, make sure you hit that upload to the web button, because that database will stay up there, and you'll be able to permeate it and cite it for evidence. Nothing like having great evidence like that. So this is his semiconductors, which I'm going to share with you guys. Some of his recordings. I don't know what app he's running. There are many, many, many engineering tools, engineering apps that you can utilize that record fact-based data. It just is what it is. And it's ever so more important now that people are demonstrating MAC addresses, Bluetooth MAC addresses, literally in RF-free zones. These tests have already been conducted, they've been verified. At least I know with the unnamed MAC addresses that there's a distinctive possibility. I've probably uploaded many people, I'll call them people, that are carrying their own Bluetooth MAC addresses. How horrifying is that? And I mean, it doesn't take much to be able to trace these Bluetooth addresses, who they're routing to. There's other applications where you can crack them, open them, and you can look at the hashes. You can crack those hashes and you can read it and see if there's medical information contained therein. Isn't that terrifying? So this is John's page, Uncle John's page. I'm going to share you his link here. Okay, we'll go back into here. I'm really sorry people are starting to go hungry. So John's page tracking. It's important for all of us to explore multiple tools, multiple engineering tools. Now, big tech is targeting you. This guy's a ham operator. He's a big tech guy. I've talked about him before. This link was sent to me by John. I haven't been staying abreast of everything. I've been kind of floating and watching some videos and stuff. And of course, reminiscing about when my cousin was here, I guess about 10 years ago. And we went and watched my other cousin play in a band. Death is remembering for for those who are left behind. So this is talking about how and why many people are being watched if they don't like your disposition on what you believe or don't believe in religion, in medication, in anything at all. You're on somebody's radar. You're on somebody's watch list. Maybe you're on multiple watch lists. So it's a terrifying thing. Now, I really like Rob. He's fantastic. He's a brain. Uh, he recommends that everybody get their ham operations license. I totally say you need to do that too. There's different applications where you can learn Morse code, and it's just a matter of dots and dashes. It takes up a lot of room, this application in your cell phone for learning Morse code. Do it, play it as a game, get rid of your other stupid games that don't serve any purpose for you. Uh, Ham operation is a factual thing, Morse code is a factual thing, and it is being utilized in combination with the internet and AMP. When you see that anywhere in your browser, when you're opening up your email, know that a ham operator is beaming in. That's all in uppercase, AMP. That's ham operations. Just a factual thing. So here is Rob's clip on how big tech is targeting you. John's page. Targeting you. I'm really glad he's not on yet. That Rob hasn't been pinged off of YouTube. He started up a web page so we can still gather information from him. He also sells cell phones that have reduced tracking systems, and I think he's utilizing open source software for them. This guy's a brain. He's got a massive amount of followers, and I love how he takes the time to educate people on how the internet works with ham operations, and what it is it's all radio dynamic communication. It is what it is. It's not a delusional disorder. Okay, so here's another clip on efficient antenna design process for wireless, wearable, and implantable devices. Now, I haven't watched this whole clip. It's only 5 minutes. So this will tell you how the antenna relays are actually communicating with you if you have implantables in your body, which is being confirmed now in different regions of the world. Different scientists, medical professionals are actually recording people's bodies just using cell phones and collecting the MAC addresses in RF-free zones. Everything that I've been talking about is being proven by people all over the world. And unfortunately, I'm just one of the oddballs that has been, going through this for the last couple of years. All right, so there's that one, effective antenna design. Antenna design, oops, that E. Yes, so I've been viewing a lot of hatred again online. I'm sorry if you've been one of the casualties in my Twitter. Please know that I'm actually using a social mapping system that police actually use a lot more efficiently than what I do, as I follow the people. If they have a Twitter handle or profile, I follow them, and then I look at their social relationships with the other organizations or corporations and entities that I've found on my network. And it's producing unique, good results. So here's Kay's channel. I think, no, that's not Kay's channel. Just a second here. Now, my friend, he produced a movie on targeting. don't know if you've taken the time to see it. Let me pull up his profile. Let me pull up his profile. It's called The Spark. Right. If you haven't seen it, it's $5 on Vimeo. Definitely see it. I've talked to him about him doing a secondary movie. He wants to do a follow-up. So I gave him, my concepts of what he can do to further explain within the targeting, because he's actually finding a lot of the results, right? So this is Steven Sellenberger's. He's worked with some of the best. He actually started Lionsgate at one point, lost Lionsgate, part of his targeting. It is what it is. He's been on a whole bunch of different television series. I think he's been in a couple of movies too and stuff. My sister called me up the other day. She was all giggling and she's like, "Oh, I seen him, in the Twilight Zone. He was in this clip. He did a set on this clip." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, great, that's cool." So if you have not watched The Spark, it is about targeting. It's it is what it is, right? It's an experience of what he's reiterated that he's going through. So here's the film, The Spark. The Spark. Hopefully he will be able to muster up some money so that he can do a part 2 on targeting, because we've gathered enough evidence that he has a repository or a well that he can draw from within fact-based stuff that defines what is actually occurring with an individual, right? Now, he had found something and he shared it my way, and it's called New World Order Tortureware 6.66. Literally, absolutely unbelievable. It's an actual software on torturing people. Let me just pull this up here. So it's a game, and it's a game on torturing people within different aspects and stuff. I don't know if it's real. I'm not going to download it and look at it, but it talks about voice to skull, one of them, memory kill, electric shock, power itch, limb moves. So he had come across that. Look at that. A robust software solution for targeting individuals, military grade targeting technology, advanced voice to skull, plugins ready to go out of the box, a bit dated and not compatible for 5G attacks or read thoughts as well as sensory input, blah, 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 blah. So, wow. Jolt game tortureware. Unbelievable, right? Tortureware, let me put this here. Tortureware. 6.66. Wow. 6.66. Dark giggle. God only knows. All I know is that's pretty horrible, right? I'm going to pop off into the room. So, again, if you haven't seen the movie The Spark, pop by Steven's channel. The links to the movies and stuff are there, where you can get it. $5 on Vimeo. He's just a down-to-earth guy who's been going through some terrible stuff, like literally terrible, terrible stuff. There's his flick right here. So there's The Spark. Yeah. Hi, Rose. Hopefully things have gone well for you lately. He said he was hopeful for 2020. It's 2022. Let's go, Brandon. I don't get the whole go Brandon thing. I've got to look at the video, right? Maybe we should start some seed collections or something for people to grow gardens in different parts of the world. If you can't donate something, I think that a pack of seeds might help people, right? Potatoes, peas, carrots, rutabaga, turnips, something with some substantial stuff, nutrients, uh, because there is terrible things coming. It's just factual. I'm just gonna get right into my digging and poking around what's been going on in my network. I'm just gonna skim through a bunch of this stuff. So here we go. Getting into this stuff. So as you know, you get these resolved addresses that come in and out of your network. Some of them are part of regular communicating components in your system, and others are definitely not. It also records communications coming in and out of your network, especially if it's got Bluetooth device access, right? So you can take these Bluetooth devices and you can go to different sites. It's called digital forensics. You can trace them, what they are. So here's this one. This one goes back to the World Economic Forum. I had traced this one. It's a leader in remote monitoring systems for various industries, focusing on the development and production of remote surveillance. Now, why would you have somebody under surveillance who doesn't leave their house? Why would you have tons of medical devices? Well, because a person who's typically a victim is involved in non-consenting medical device testing. So chances are your employer's involved. If your employer has demanded, in advance, doctor's notes, this, that, and this, and have literally harassed you to the ends of the earth about the medical information, they're part of your medical surveillance. That's what I've found. My employer has entered into my network. They shouldn't be, and that's all subpoenable. And I've done print screens and captures, because you can create different, whatever you define as a honeypot, you can create your own honeypot systems. So here's the manufacturer. You can pull up all kinds of information on stuff endlessly. So that's one surveillance system. So here's Siemens. I've got Siemens in my system. Multiple Siemens in my system. Look at that. So Siemens is into biomedical research as well. These ones are also branching out in Europe, and it's a German multinational conglomerate corporation headquartered in Munich. I shouldn't have any German devices in my computer. I don't speak the language. I've never traveled there, and I don't know anybody from there. So there's another one, Siemens. Okay, I can't remember what this one is. Micromax. Maybe I just pulled up the. Oh, this is a medical device one. Microbot Medical. So they're into microbial, I guess, mini micro robots that they jam into the human body. Look at that. Cardio. See that? Cardio. And there it is on the network. I also have a lot of South Korea on here. This one is Microbiomeds. So it's a manufacturer of medical equipment. It develops and sells medical kits, ultra-fast lab chip, real-time polymers, chain reactions. Wow. I mean, there they are in my network. Here's Chechnya. Here's the MAC address. Look at that. What is this? Why is the Czech Republic in my computer? This isn't a medical device. This isn't a device that is normally found on any person's network. Now, the fact is, some of these corporations, I believe I pulled up one, I think it had 4 employees and it was earning 25 million a year and it only had like a couple thousand MAC addresses. That is insane. Tells you how non-reality that this stuff should be in your computer. It just shouldn't be. So here's another one. This one's Merlin CSI. If there's 4 people and they earn 12 million a year, and they are involved in the Internet of Things. See that? So it's amazing the amount of evidence and information you can collect on these. So here we go. 4 employees. There's the website. There's their location, and that's their revenue. I'm not a breadwinner. I'm not doing business with them. But there they are on my computer, and they're making 12 million a year. And here's Medtronic. So I found this was interesting. So Medtronics involves pacemakers that are DARPA, have a DARPA relationship with the vagus nerve stimulators, but they also have a diabetes and medical device system. Check this out. So there's the Medtronic showing up in my network. This is who they are. And look at this Medtronic diabetes. So that is starting with the D16A7. So mine is the 70BD5. It's a detailed one. So it's got a unique string. It is, it's a singular device. And there it is in my network. It's a pacemaker. I shouldn't have a pacemaker in my environment. But, you know, that's what happens to you if you're, you know, a biomedical slave. There we go. Medtronic pacemakers. Isn't that something? Okay, so here's another one. I've got Hungary in my, another medical evolution device testing kit from Hungary. What's Hungary doing in my computer? Well, I guess this is part of the whole new economy, you know. You don't want to die a poor cop, you want to die a wealthy cop, or, you know, wealthy first responders. So why not utilize those radio frequency tools that you've been trained on and utilized along with Project 25. So here's Poland. Poland Laboratory Monitoring. This is a medical monitoring system. Now there's a fellow here in Canada that works within the education system, and he's liaison to Poland. He does a lot with the networks. I've come across him multiple times in the network, all tied to Educrats, which is in India, also United Way, also higher learning education networks. He traverses along and with. One such network is called Canary. So there we go, right? And who does this trace to? It's a lab in Poland. What you doing in my network, Poland? You shouldn't be here. Laboratory electronics, microclimate monitoring, micro monitors. So when you're under this type of surveillance, you'll find all kinds of micro surveillance equipment, lasers. Here we go. I've got LeoCorp. I don't think I did any homework on these guys. Got several of them in my network. L3 Communications Mobiles offers a body-worn camera room management systems and evidence solutions. So this one's actually utilized by police services in the United States. So I guess, you know, it's a big old mix-up because they're all here. L3. L3 Communications is also dabbling in biomedical research. I believe that they fall along the lines of military. So here's another one where it has a vehicle data sensor communications. So Look at this network. I thought this ISO network was interesting because it's demonstrating that the sensors are inside of a vehicle. Here we go. Here's another IRAMED medical device. The world's first and only provider of non-magnetic MRI IV infusion pumps and non-magnetic MRI patient monitors. Our portable MRI patient care. I don't live anywhere near a medical system, but there this is in my network. It's in my network. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. It's just, if it's not part of your world, you aren't going to find this randomly. So I thought that this ISIS, all level 1 IS Cisco system was interesting. So I had actually saved the link on it because I found them in here. So this talks about your routers and their compatibility within mesh networks, ham operations, and different diagram systems and how they can communicate throughout an adjacent area. Now, what's important for me is my network is showing up as unlocked on my router. Anybody can log in. I have MIMO services on there, which means it's communicating with multiple repeaters and multiple antenna systems. And it records the radio frequencies inside of my router. That's just a built-in default. So if you can log into your router and it doesn't ask you for password or anything, and anybody can just log in, that's a real problem. That's evidence. And I've contacted my internet service provider multiple times pertaining to this, and I just needed some solid evidence to show that, you know, this is occurring, and they 100% know, because they can see all of the communications on the network. They can't even deny it. So I'm going to add that one because you might find that interesting. Okay. Specialty routing with Cisco systems, specialty routing. So for me, I know that I route to the Department of Treasury in the United States. Well, I'm not part of the United States, but I'm routed there. That's ridiculous. Also, I've found the Patents Office show up in my peer block, Patents Office for the United States. What is that? What is that? Why are you showing up in my network? You shouldn't be. But, you know, you can't put anything. Here we go. IP Video Corporation. So here's another type of surveillance system that's on your network. Show them all up. IP Video Corporation provides internet sensors and audio video equipment to increase security and help with coaching and teaching. Look at that. Shouldn't be in my network. Halo, see that? Halo. Halo is also a military contractor who I've plucked up a few times. So I found it interesting that this IP system is out of New York. A lot of these devices are right out of New York. Never been there. I don't know a single soul that's there, but it is what it is. So that's the IP Video Corp. I've also found veterinarians, literal veterinarians that have shown up in the network. And this one showed up, IDX, a laboratories and multinational corporation engaged in the development, manufacture, distribution of products and services, animal veterinarian. So another target, BH, who was on here, had some non-consenting implants removed from her vagina under the supervision of a private investigator along with the doctor. I can't recall. I think she did an interview and she talked about it at length on here. What they found was they were actually registered as animal devices to Wildlife Federation, and they were registered for deer, monitoring deer in the environment. So look at that. So here's one year. I don't know, maybe I had a deer run by with a medical device in its, Watu, and my Wi-Fi picked it up. Look at that. So here's an Apple multicast. So if you don't have any Apple products and you are picking up this Apple IP network, especially with the Bluetooth spoofings, with the AirTags and the UUIDs recorded. And if you check in your resolved addresses, there's going to be stuff in here. There's just going to be stuff in here. And then here's France. Again, another country I've never been to. I don't speak the same language as, and there they are, constantly in my network. France is just constantly here. So if you're from Spain, Germany, Brazil, wherever, and we don't speak the same language, and you're not digging out your network, you're going to be removed from my Twitter. I just don't have any use for people who are not looking at collecting actual factual evidence as to what is occurring in their environment. And I would like to not be overwhelmed with all the poppycock and bullshit that goes on the internet. It's just not my bag. I'm here to collect some data, evidence, understanding what's happening, use some educational tools, obtain a ham license, obtain some other certifications, right? So there you go. There was another, I'd done some tracer routes with Princeton University's tracer route tools. I was watching a clip by Elon Musk, and he was talking about the different hops within a tracer route and a few different things. So I figured, okay, I'll go back and I'll try tracing some of the hops again. It gets, stale and boring because you've got to do reversals when you come to a dead end. Once you do the reversal, you can get an answer. And once you get an answer, it's pretty loud. So I found that this ASN number is a big deal. Now I'll show you why this ASN number is a big deal. So it's announcing as bogons, and let me go back over here. It comes back into ZAO. So ZAO is global. ZAO deals with medical research, educational facilities, a few different others. So this one is the same routings, the same ASN involvements. We've got Cogent Communications, we've got AT&T Services, and AT&T Services has a relationship with Sprint and has an older relationship, a much older relationship, which I had to get educated on, which was Clearwire. And I have actually captured Clearwire, which is supposed to be defunct, debunked, and no longer is in existence inside of my network. So yeah, and they end up having a relationship. I believe the fellow's name is John Saw, who holds multiple patents for Clearwire. And the patents have to do with biomedical antenna research. And you can look him up. He's an actual person, John Saw, Clearwire. And he's got a whole slew of patents. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to look at the peers. I'm going to show you what's interesting about this. Now, when you look at these peers, this is a very large listing. These people all have a relationship when they're combined on a singular ASN. They're part of a specific routing They have an internal communications. They know who to look for who. Now you're going to see all these little X's and different ones and some that aren't X'd out. The ones that are X'd out, well, I'd say from this massive listing, the bulk of these are including Hurricane Electric, are who you can subpoena your network communications with. But just look at this. I mean, it's stunning. It really is stunning. Go all the way. So there's 2,293 relationships in this ASN. And it's global. American College of Cardiology. Now, what common thread would Sigma Investments, where are they? They're Soho, I guess Soho in New York. What would the American College of Cardiology have in common with Western Union? I mean, just look at these relationships. Just look at these relationships. I think George Washington University is on here too. Don't feel like queuing that one up. That's an important one to look at. So IEEE is another one that you'd subpoena because of the unregistered bands that are often utilized, and they traverse utilizing your network, your IP. So in order to get your IP, you will get, you can Google it, look up how to collect your internal routing, your internal IP, your external IP, and also send them your router information. Your internal router information is important, and make sure you include a query as to the reversals. That's right, the reversals. So let me take a look here. Sonic Sensory Incorporated. It's located in Los Angeles, part of footwear manufacturing industry. Now, why and how odd is that? Sonic sensors in your foot. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to kind of go through for today. Hopefully you guys have been doing a lot of digging and have been getting some answers. Who we're going to take all these answers to, I don't know. But it's not a delusion. Data science is factual. Make sure you get it in writing from the psychiatrist that he doesn't believe in radio communications and radio frequency, and he believes that it's a delusion if you end up in a involuntary situation like that elderly gentleman did. Just terrible. Okay, let me take a peek in here. Hi, John. Hi, Indiana Gang Stalking. Hopefully everything has been going well with you. They're totally moving towards a caste system such as they have in India, right? So in the caste systems, I mean, you're locked in due to breeding or, whatever social constraints, and you're restricted as to your learning, your capability, where you can live. That appears to be where we're heading at this point, and it seems to be appearing as a probable supported environment with psychiatry if they did this to this elderly gentleman who was an upright person in his community and is trying to move forward in time and do the best for others still, regardless of your age, right? Okay, John's page tracking. Okay, Rose. The topic for today is New World Order torture, 6.66, antenna for wireless implantable devices, and I'm doing digs. So I've got Medtronic in my environment, and it's a pacemaker, and I should not have a pacemaker in my environment. So what's important to note is Medtronic apparently has been convicted of non-consenting medical device testing in human beings throughout the United States. So there's different cases you can actually cite if you find them in your environment. You have an MRI and you have an HSCADA scan, right? I'm sorry, John, you've been a pain from microwaves, your back, center, mass, neck, and vertebrae just went outside to record a triangle-shaped federal drone burning me. Oh my God. Oh my God. They definitely have transponders in your environment. There's definitely a transponder. There's repeaters. I captured a repeater in my Wireshark the other day. I was like, wow, I just seen it roll through. It said repeater. I'm like, wow, there it is. That was, wow. Um, I can tell you a simple suggestion. If you have a freezer and you have a blanket, soak your blanket with water. Make sure it's a nice, heavy blanket, wool, whatever, or get a couple of them, and then drape them over you and around you. The microwaves will have a hard time pulsing through that, right? So if you can make a shielding system out of that, that's an option. That's an affordable option if you have a freezer. And considering we're in the middle of winter, you can actually put them in a plastic bag and drape them over you and probably get some relief to some extent. It's terrible. I unplug my router, phone, cable, TVs at night, and still they slowly microwave me to death. Hard to breathe, heart arrhythmia. Just keep praying to God. You need to shield. You must shield. If you have a basement, go to your basement. Find a corner in the basement. Cuddle up next to that wall because they won't be able to shoot you from the floor. They won't be able to shoot you from either one of those corners. They'll have to shoot you from up top and out front. So you can reduce the impact of some of the assault, right? By strategically placing yourself to some extent. Also, there is a high fireproof paint, right? Or you can use Rust-Oleum. So Rust-Oleum actually contains lead oxide. So it's got a red tinge to it. So it's more of a purified form, and it's an anti-rust thing. So you can actually spray part of the cardboard with that stuff, the Rust-Oleum stuff. It's expensive though. And you can utilize that as a little bit of a lead barrier, which should deflect and refract some of the microwave pulses you're going through. I'm sorry you're going through this. I'm sorry we're all going through this. I really have to get off my buns and finish off that book on shielding techniques. I wanted to have it finished by now, but life happens, right? So some of the shielding techniques will definitely be able to provide some relief and assistance for people depending upon your economic situation. I've talked to people literally everywhere, all over the world. I've done homework. I've tried the best and I've tried the worst in shielding. And I can tell you this much. There are things that definitely do work. Definitely. Now, let's say you have tires. So thick rubber will stop vibration. It will also stop some of the assault. So if you have a way to obtain some used tires, you can make yourself a little environment in your space to try to shield. That is one technique. There are many techniques, right? Hi, Rahal. I'm sorry if you are being targeted in India. My friend Nitz, I haven't heard from in a few months. I'm hoping to God he's all right. And I'm hoping my other friend whose son was abducted in India is all right. I haven't heard from him in quite a while. I work with Hogan. They sent a Mason safety advisor to mess with me today, and they've been attacking me all night. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to hear about that. Oh, choppers and noise pollution. I know there are many. They're making money, right? I mean, somebody told them that this was okay. This is the green economy. And I don't know at this point, other than literally the best case scenario I believe that we can do is litigate for network intrusion. That's not arguable. It just is factual. And you can subpoena their data. It's just factual. It's not debatable. It's part of radio communication, and that's how it's showing up on your network, right? Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm going to put the links to the things I've discussed. Yeah, listen to Rose, get in your bathtub for temporary relief and take a bath. Immerse your entire body, including your head, underwater. I don't know how, but the water somehow blocks it. They're all demons of electric stuff. Well, it's anybody who's abusing radio frequencies, as far as I'm concerned, shouldn't have the right to exist. They should be, because you kill people, you cause permanent damage. It's permanent. It's just permanent. Okay, I've just put those links inside of the description box. And as I said, if you've been a casualty of me deleting you from Twitter, I'm sorry, I'm not here to be famous. I'm just here for some answers and to try to get some stuff done so that we can help each other and perhaps end this. I'm hoping we end this. I've lost complete faith and confidence in Mills at this point. I think that it speaks volumes that Assange can be extradited to a country where he's never resided, to a country that has this dark history of, oppressing people with freedom of speech and political opinions to try to cover up their own erred ways, right? Terrible stuff. Okay, guys. Yeah, ceramic tiles block stuff. It certainly does. It certainly does. Okay, so have a